Hey guys, this is episode 6 of the Rugged Angel podcast, and I am your host, Kahmeela. I hope you're having a splendid week thus far. It seems like winter is finally making a retreat and spring is on the horizon, which I can't be happier about. So pretty soon we'll be able to put away the boots and the rock salt and shovels and just breathe in that wonderful spring air and take in some sunshine. So just a reminder that this podcast is now on iTunes under Rugged Angel Productions. Rugged Angel is one word. So please subscribe, rate, and review. That'll help me out a lot. The podcast can still be found on SoundCloud and RuggedAngel.com as well. And you can also follow me at _Rugged Angel on Twitter. And Rugged Angel Productions is also on Facebook. So Rugged Angel number 6 is Songbird and one of Whirl Magazine's top 13 under 30, one Miss Anqwenique Wingfield. And in between her shout-outs, we managed to talk about how she is born of music and dedication. I had a blast talking with her and just hanging out with her. And I apologize to you guys for my loud bursts of laughter that happened throughout this podcast. But we had a good time, so I'm not going to be too sorry about it. So listen on to Anqwenique, who is excellence without excuses. You should also check out her band, Kinetic. They have an album out now, which is on iTunes, and it's called World of Wonder. The band is Kinetic, spelled Kinetic. Now for your words of wisdom. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air and thinking you are better than everyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone else in the first place. Let's start the show. All right. Welcome, Anqwenique Wingfield.
Yes. Hello.
I am so happy to have you here today. I don't think we've ever had a chance to sit down and just chat.
I don't think we have. This is so exciting.
Yes, it is. I'm very happy about it.
I am too.
And we also, for the very first time in the Rugged Angel Studios, we have a live studio audience that is not the dogs. It's Anqwenique's beau and creative partner.
Yes.
D.S. Kinzel. But we're not going to be expecting too much from him this session. He's going to sit there.
He's live tweeting.
Exactly. He's going to be live tweeting.
Doing what he does best.
And he's going to let Anqwenique tell her story herself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Word. All right, Anqwenique. Let's start. First of all, congratulations for being Whirl's one of the 13 under 30, top 13 under 30.
Thank you.
First of all, I did not realize that you were under 30.
Ooh, I am. And it's funny because I just recently had a birthday. I just turned 28.
Okay.
And I think when you
That was this month, right? Or
yes,
February.
Yep, February 10th.
Happy belated.
Thank you. And I think when you get on this side of 25, it starts to feel like, ooh, okay. You know, I'm starting to feel the pressure
of making correct life choices.
Right. It's like, oh, I probably shouldn't do that anymore.
Right. No, I get it.
Like, oh, wow, I should. Yeah. There's a lot I'm thinking about as I'm approaching 30, but I'm not stressed out about it. I feel really good about what I'm doing. I'm feeling really good about the things I'm accomplishing.
And so, you have accomplished a lot, and you are accomplishing a lot.
I'm trying. I'm working. Trying to just keep, driving the train, toot, leaving the station,
I think I don't think you have much to worry about by the time you reach 30. I think you'll be solid.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Okay. Are you a Pittsburgh native?
I am a Pittsburgh native.
Okay.
I was born here in Pittsburgh, McGee Hospital, like many of us, and grew up here. My family is from a little bit of all over, but primarily from the Lincoln-Leamington neighborhood. My father, my grandmother, and my mother is originally from North Carolina.
Oh.
And when she and my grandmother moved to Pittsburgh, they lived in Homestead and then in Hazelwood for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of been a little bit all over.
Okay.
And And then when I was about 13, we moved to Maryland
Oh.
in the PG County, Silver Spring area.
Hmm.
And so I spent a lot of time, like middle school, high school there.
Okay.
Then I went to IUP and I graduated and I moved back to Pittsburgh.
Really? What did you
So
study in IUP?
I studied vocal performance.
Oh, wow.
So I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Music.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's always nice and heartwarming to see people doing something with their actual degree, like with what they went
Hell yeah.
to
So
school for. Because
I was really determined though.
No, and it's a great accomplishment in itself, just to be able to.
True. It's rough, you know. It's rough, and I think when I first graduated college, I was home and I was doing all kind of oddball things, you know, always with the idea that, you know, I would eventually go to grad school or I would audition this place or that place or what have you. Like always that I would be singing. But then I had a moment like a year ago, and I was kind of like, what am I doing? Like, why am I working this job? And I don't have time to work this job. And I'm like, you know, music started to get busy. I'm also teaching as well. So it made sense to kind of make the leap. So I took the leap. And so.
And it seems like it was a good choice.
You know, yeah, it was definitely a good choice. I'm definitely proud of myself. I think that it allowed me to challenge myself in different ways, allowed me to do more. I think I would have probably always stayed at a particular plateau, just based on the amount of time that I had to spend on thinking and dreaming up projects, or, you know, just yielding to the vision of, you know, creative vision of doing certain things. So I'm excited. I think since then, I've been able to challenge myself in different ways, and I have a lot of big ideas and things I want to do to continue that process. And so it's definitely a positive thing, but it's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, in many ways, it's a struggle. And
in the full-time
and
entrepreneurial artist.
Yeah. It's like you sacrifice certain types of stability, you know, monetary and otherwise, to, you know, be able to live your dream and do these things that make you happy or that you think that is your purpose in life.
Right.
But sometimes the sacrifice is, ooh, that check is probably not coming on time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, check's coming, but it's not going to automatically be.
And utility companies and your
and
landlord,
they're not
they don't
waiting
care about it. They told me that it was going to be here between 10 to 35 days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you know, it is a fight. It is certainly a struggle, but one that I welcome, you know.
Yeah. And so you were doing just like the regular 9 to 5
I was,
job.
yeah.
And what were you doing, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I was I did a number of things when I first graduated college and came home. My uncle has a construction company out in Penn Hills, out not far from here actually.
Oh, okay.
Baum General Construction.
Oh.
So I worked for him for a good couple of years as his like office administrative assistant, and just like handling all the paperwork with the business. Also worked for my other uncle who has a car repair shop on the corner of Lincoln and Leamington.
Okay.
Eddie's Auto. I'm also plugging here, folks. So please look up these places. They are very much
Eddie's
in business.
Okay,
they are my family, and they are legitimate
If
businesses.
they have websites, I will gladly
They have
link to them.
websites, been in business for over 20 years. Yeah, so Eddie's Auto, corner of Lincoln and Leamington. I worked there as his receptionist for like a year and a half or so. And then I worked for a company called Passive Memorial Homes, where I work with individuals with mental and intellectual disabilities.
Oh, wow.
So I did that work for like 3 years.
I'm sure
These
it
are
takes a
all
lot of
things
patience.
overlapping. Yes. Yeah. So that's what I was doing when I quit my job. And I had a very awesome client that I miss.
Oh.
Shout out to Joey.
Oh.
Shout out to Miss Jerry.
Just doing the fist pumps.
Yes.
For those who
Yes.
can't see this is audio.
Yep.
So do you have a big family? Because you mentioned like a couple uncles. Like, do you have brothers and sisters, or like what's your family?
Yeah,
like?
my family makeup is not huge, but it's a big. I'm the youngest of 5.
Oh, wow.
I'm the youngest of 5. There are 4 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, wow.
And most of my siblings are much older than me. Like I'm the youngest by like 6 years.
Oh, really?
So I felt I had like that youngest kid, kind of only kid, but not really experience.
The youngest, the baby,
like never old enough to do
only
anything.
Child.
right, straggling along. So yeah. And I'm the only one of my siblings who currently lives in Pittsburgh. Everyone is gone. I have a sister in Atlanta, a sister in Virginia, a sister in Maryland, and my brother is off somewhere. He's actually in jail. Oh. So we're all over the place. So I'm the only one that came home.
And you still have mom and dad are here?
Well, my dad is here. My mother lives in Maryland with my sister, and grandmothers, uncles, cousins are all here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Man, that's got to be nice, though.
Yeah, it is nice. It's interesting because it's interesting because I don't see my family very, very often, and I'm not far. Right. So it's like I'm just always on the go. Like and my family, we're close, and it's not like I don't come around for a particular reason. I'm just like doing my own thing. Yeah. So it's nice. It's nice when we do get together and see each other. It's always positive. It's always beautiful.
That's great.
So
is your family a musical one?
Sort of. My father's definitely a musician. He plays guitar and has since he was 13. So for like the last 50 years or so. And he's a jazz musician, so I grew up going with him to his gigs. Oh, wow. Listening to a lot of jazz and funk around the house. So that's kind of where I get my musical bug from. No one else in my family is a musician. Oh, that's not true. My great uncle, AJ Wingfield, is a organist, pianist. Has worked with many churches here in Pittsburgh for years. An amazing organist. And I think my great aunt that I never met was also a pianist as well. So it's a little bit. It's in there. Yeah. It's up and around.
So how old were you when somebody recognized, like your family recognized or you recognized that she's got a voice and this is what she wants to do?
Oh man, it's interesting because I would always hear stories about like when I was younger and I would, be singing and playing around and things like that. So my grandmother used to tell me that my preschool teacher had recognized that I had a voice in preschool. Oh wow. And had told her it was kind of like she could probably sing opera one day or something. Oh my. And she told me this story and I was like, that's like too good to be true. I don't really think my preschool teacher foreshadowed my whole life.
You're gonna sing opera.
Right, like specifically. But yeah, so I always sang. I'm trying to think. I started taking piano lessons. I guess I was about how old was that? I maybe was like 8, 9 years old, maybe 10. I was taking lessons at the Afro-American Music Institute in Homewood. Nice. My father was teaching there also at the time. I wanted to take voice lessons.
I'm not recalling right now the names of the couple that.
Dr. J.
Yes,
Dr. J and Miss Pam.
Yes.
Shout out.
They're great. Yes. Shout
amazing.
out to those two.
To James Johnson III and Howie and all that whole crew. Absolutely. Still going strong. Been in business. I think they just had their 30-year anniversary. Really? I think so.
That's amazing.
So yeah, they've been doing amazing things.
And oddly enough, I've been in Pittsburgh since 98 and I didn't know anything about that place until maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Okay. And
it was just kind of like an in the cut neighborhood music institute, and really produced some of Pittsburgh's greatest musicians, younger musicians that are still out here now, working and doing things. But,
Dr. J?
Because he used to be on Tioga Street, way in the cut in Homewood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on Tioga, and then they moved and purchased the new building. But they used to be, right in the cut.
Wow.
Yep.
Man.
So that was the first place I took music lessons, and I wanted to take voice lessons so bad. And my dad wouldn't let me. He was like, all you got to do is, my impression of my dad.
Sing.
He was like, all you got to do, get your piano and do your do, re, mi's like this. And he would never let me take me. He was like, all you got to, you can teach yourself.
Girl, we ain't got no spending no money on that frivolous business.
Right. You better learn that piano. So I took piano lessons. I didn't take voice lessons till like high school.
Oh man.
Yeah. That was so funny.
Do your do re mi's.
I swear I remember it like it was yesterday. All you gotta do is go up and down the scale. Do re mi. I'm like, Dad, it's not the same.
So did you find the vocal lessons in high school difficult, or I mean, how psyched were you once you were finally able to?
Oh, I was like super psyched. So I was super psyched. When I was in high school, I was a part of our choral program. Shout out to High Point High School, Beltsville, Maryland, PG County. Sorry, man. Shout out to this interview.
I was about to say, she is Anqwenique is the queen of shout outs.
References are real.
I know, right?
Google it.
You have to need a bibliography to go with this,
right.
with this interview.
Make sure you cite your sources. So when I was in high school, that's so funny. When I was in high school, we had the High Point High School concert choir that I was a part of, and our director, Mr. Ned Lewis, was like, oh, he was everything. He was everything to us in high school, you know. He was like the father figure. He was like very strict and like disciplining about the craft of singing and the craft of learning music. It just instilled a lot of like great values in us as young people in high school. And so he encouraged me to take voice lessons with a woman who was a really good friend of his and who had come to the school and done some workshops with us. And she's she's still in DC working for the Levine School of Music. Another shout out.
Like, oh, feel free. I mean, I'm not trying to hinder your shout outs. I'm just making note.
Joyce Lundy, and she's a fabulous soprano, has done tons of work with Washington National Opera and still teaches at Levine School of Music. And so he was like, you should take voice lessons with Mrs. Lundy. And I was like, okay. So I met with her, and she was very excited to work with me. So I got my first official job. This wasn't my first job, but it was my first real official job so that I could pay for my voice lessons in high school. I was like a junior. I was like a sophomore in high school. Yes. And so like later. And I worked at Old Navy in the mall. I worked at Old Navy in the mall to pay for my voice lessons.
Well, that's wonderful that was your goal. It wasn't
that was like
most
the
kids.
Only reason why I got a job.
Yeah, most kids are like, because I want the discount at Old Navy.
My mom was like, I mean, I would love to, but we just ain't got it like that. So
right.
I was like, all right, cool. I'll pay for my voice lessons. Dad didn't want to pay for my voice lessons when I was little. And so, no, I'm kidding. I'm not, but he was always been very supportive. It's not like he's a not.
No, if they don't, I mean, geez, if you don't got it, you don't got it.
Right, you don't
that
got
extra.
It. So that was my first job working at Old Navy, my first real job. And so that's kind of where things got serious for me in terms of singing. And I did like some competitions. I did like the PG County soloist something, like, you know, like different like all city state choir, that type of stuff. So we had that in Maryland also. So I competed in those and sang in those choirs as well.
Gotcha.
As my high school choir. And so you never knew that.
Daryl is learning something new.
So I had like scored very highly on my audition, which was like really helpful for me to get into college for singing and vice, you know.
Right.
So I had just like had a lot of support.
That's wonderful.
For sure, when I was in high school around that.
And so I love the fact that you were so focused and driven at such a young age.
It's really like straight up. Mr. Ned Lewis.
Yeah, he's the one who got you on the straight and narrow.
Hashtag excellence without excuses, yo.
Nice.
Excellence without excuses, like into us, and like drove it into us every day.
That's
every
wonderful.
day in class. Like that was, I mean, up on the, so we had the music room with the choir, what are they called? The choir stands or the risers.
Okay.
In the choir room.
Mm-hmm.
And the piano, and right behind him, behind his head on the wall, it said excellence without excuses.
That's awesome.
Like just there. That was like our motto. That's how we did everything.
Is he still at the school?
He is not at the school anymore. I think he's doing some work at Howard University.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, like that all came from him, you know? I mean, not all of it. I mean, you know, but that's
it's always helpful with that.
instrumental.
So like, yes, exactly.
to
Someone
have those
outside of your
people.
family, because you expect your family
To exactly.
Right.
You expect your family to push you
Right.
and to say you need to do this, blah 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 blah,
Right. Or
and
that
want you to do it the
can
right
do
way.
it
But it helps to have someone who's not a family member,
right.
Because sometimes they can just reach a child in a different way, and the respect is different because they're not as close,
Right.
you know, to you.
Exactly.
And so that was very instrumental for me in my lifetime.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So what brought you? What brought you back to Pittsburgh?
Oh, so my choices were, after college, my choices were to go to Maryland with my mother and my grandmother, or to move to Pittsburgh with my father. And I decided to come to Pittsburgh because I didn't want to like live like the cost of living in the Maryland DC area is
Yeah.
you know, is expensive.
Right.
It's like Pittsburgh in like 5 years.
Yeah.
But 5 years
Right.
ago,
Right.
the Pittsburgh option
Exactly. Yes.
was much better than the DMV option.
Oh.
So I moved to Pittsburgh, and I didn't want to, and I also didn't want to be like crowded in the house to be much of a burden on my mom. Sorry. And so I was like, oh, I could stay with my dad, and I hadn't been like with him in a long time, like throughout college or whatever. It felt like, and so that was the decision I made.
How long ago was that?
That was 5 years.
Oh, really?
5 years ago. Yes, it was.
So you've only been in Pittsburgh for about 5, or like.
like 5. It's going on 6 years, but yeah, about 5
Wow.
years or so.
And you have been doing quite a bit.
I've been trying. Yes.
Okay, so I know your musical stylings differ from opera to jazz to classical to soul. First of all, is there one that you prefer to the other? Are there did you prefer performing or is it just more like on any given day, just you find the?
It's interesting because people ask me that a lot, and for me, it comes in waves. Like it comes in seasons for me. So there'll be a season where I feel like, you know, there's just a lot of opportunities to do jazz or soul type gigs or work. And so I take advantage of that and I do that. And then there's seasons where, you know, I'm auditioning and maybe I get a role or maybe just opportunities come. And so then I get into a mode of, but I never stop doing one or the other. It's always like a constant thing. And I really don't, and I don't choose to think about it like a preference because all of it is very much a part of my gift and part of me. And so I think for me, it's all very satisfying in its own way. And I wouldn't be as happy of a singer if I really had to like choose.
Right.
You know.
No, it makes sense because we can't say as people that we have only one side to us, for one thing. And I'm sure all 4 of those genres help you express like
for
different
absolutely
aspects of Anqwenique.
All the time. I mean, I think the one thing that's sort of constant, like I always try to be soulful in all of my work, whether it's jazz, whether it's classical music, whether it's opera. I think there's a level of soul that can always be inserted. That's just a part of my style. I hope so. That I strive for. And so I think that's probably the one thing I think that's constant throughout. Yeah. That like, you know, that's the one thing I always approach things with a level of soul. And when I say soul, I think I mean like with a little bit of culture, with a little bit of sensitivity, with a little bit of gusto, if you will, you know.
And you do, because I've seen you perform a couple times, and your voice is beautiful. You have an amazing voice, and I enjoy listening to you sing. And I think I've heard you sing all except opera.
Okay.
So one of these days.
Ooh, days coming soon.
Is it? Okay,
yeah.
we'll get to
more shout outs.
Yes, we'll get to your upcoming show plugs momentarily. Okay, so I know you have a band, Kinetic.
Yes.
Tell me about Kinetic.
So Kinetic is a band that I joined. Oh wow, I guess it's been like 2 years ish, a year and a half to almost 2 years, and consists of Joe Sheehan, who's a keyboardist and a very good friend of mine. He's also the composer for the band as well. Okay. Jason Rafalek on bass. They're all really good friends of mine, actually. They're all like, I consider my homies. Ryan Socrates on drums, PJ Reduda on percussion and congas, and we did have Mike Borowski was our guitarist, but he just recently moved away to do like Marine band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's in like he was in basic training and all that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's real. So
so wait, now he joined the Marines and then decided to be in the band, or in order to join Marine band you need to be in basic training?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
I
trip.
think that was in order to be in a band you have to like go through the whole process.
That's doing too much. All right.
It's a lot, right? It's like I just want to play guitar. Can I?
Right, exactly.
Why I got to do all this running through the mud? Play guitar.
Oh, thanks.
Right. But no, he's an amazing musician, and I think he followed his passion and followed a really great opportunity. So but yeah, so it's a kind of a Afro jazz, contemporary jazz ensemble. And we do some covers, but we just released our first album.
Yeah.
All original music.
Really?
Written by Joe Sheehan. It's called World of Wonder. I have to say it like that. Please purchase World of Wonder by Kinetic on iTunes or Amazon.
Kinetic spelled
CD
the proper way.
Kinetic spelled the right way.
And we'll most definitely have links up for that. And I will make sure to purchase the CD as well.
Yay.
Because I didn't know you had one.
Well, we just released in November.
Oh, really?
And this is actually my first sort of like studio recording release that I've really been involved in. I haven't done a lot of studio work. That's the one thing that I'm like trying to figure out for myself this year also, is that I've done a lot of performing, haven't really done much studio work.
Really?
And I've been very, I don't know, not like avoiding that process, but just like tiptoeing around it a little bit.
What have you found to be differences from performing live as opposed to studio?
Oh, everything. I mean, just like, for one, the energy of an audience definitely can like enhance your ability to connect, And without that audience, I think it's a real gift to still find that connection through recorded music, right? When it's not right in front of your face. I also think there's a little bit of, at least for me, for this project, there was a little bit of anxiety around, doing it right.
Gotcha. So you're worried, like you got in your head, like there's a certain way to do it.
If I mess up this run, it's gonna be on the recording forever. And somebody just gonna replay that one part that I'm obsessed with. That's not the truth, right? But in your head, right? Your head is like,
that's all anybody's gonna hear. That's all
they're
anybody's
only
gonna
hear
pay
that
attention
one
to.
note I messed up on.
Right. So that'll be just blaring. That'll be the call out. That'll be the thing in all of the reviews, and every time someone talks about it.
No one else. Meanwhile, right? Nobody's even like,
the average Joe's like,
about?
You did what? You messed up. No.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of internal anxiety and stress that I had. Like, I just want to make sure it's good.
As most artists will have about all of their works.
I think so. Yeah. So so this year I'm trying to figure that out. and I want to do some more recording.
Mm. Do you write as well?
I don't write.
Really?
Yes.
That's shocking.
This is the thing. This always comes up, yeah.
Because I feel like
I feel like I should too, but
right,
it just
I feel
hasn't happened.
You've got stuff to say. I don't understand.
No, I definitely have stuff to say. I just don't know how to sing it. You know?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's I'm determined though. It's gonna happen. But it's definitely been a barrier for me, I think, as a vocalist, and just as someone who just longs to be creative and to create work and to call it your own.
Right.
And so it's a place of deep sentiment.
Yeah. You'll get there. I have faith in you.
Yeah, I'm making it happen. Yeah. I want to. It's one of those things that doesn't necessarily like come naturally for me. So when it happens, I want it to be very authentic, and I don't want to be like, well, I'm just doing this because I heard this,
right?
Or biting off of something. I want it to be very much me and very authentic, and so I think that's why I'm taking my time with that process.
You should be commended for that. And it's
Thank you.
Because you don't want to be just out here just
just out here.
Out here.
Out here.
Get your ass out. Showing yourself. No.
Right.
So you play piano.
I do.
Do you
play
play
a little
any
piano.
other instruments?
I don't.
Really?
Nope, I don't. I play a little piano, and I don't really play in public. Because
Why?
I don't think I'm that good. But I play for like my students, and for myself, just like to practice. But I've like never played piano like in performance.
What do you enjoy playing on piano the most? Because I'm sure there's like the song, like when you get to a piano.
Oh boy, there's this little song. There's this little chord structure that I made up that I play all the time. That I made up. It's like not a particular song.
So you mean you wrote a melody?
I wrote a chord progression.
Started to write a song?
I know, right, exactly. But I've been playing the same. You can ask my students at Hope Academy. I've been playing the same chord progression for like the last 2 years. And it's the same thing. And they all come into the lesson. I just be like, da, da. And they're like, oh, Miss Anqwenique. Oh,
because it's stuck with you because it needs to be turned into a song. It needs to be
turned into a song. Yes.
Okay, so you're seriously
I just gotta do it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't have it. Doesn't. But there's this chord progression. And I don't even know these words that you're saying to me, but I'm sure it's not an easy task to do.
It's not that bad
if you know what chord progressions are.
Sorry.
So is Kinetic your only band? Because I feel like you have a couple of them that you perform with.
There's a couple of different models of sort of the same thing.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people are confused about it too, so I'm happy to clarify.
Let's clarify.
So Kinetic is Kinetic, Afro jazz band. There are 6 members. Then there is Trio Plus, which I'm not like officially a part of, but I perform with them very often, which are the same, which is the rhythm section from Kinetic. So Joe, Ryan, and Jason, they're Trio Plus, and then I usually perform with them a lot of times. So I'd be like Trio Plus Anqwenique or Trio Plus Shad Ali, awesome MC, another shout out, and so I perform with them a lot. And then there's Groove Aesthetic, which is the artist collective that I started and created 2 years ago. Okay, as of March 8th. Whew.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So Groove Aesthetic is a multidisciplinary, multi-genre experience or collective of artists. So we have visual artists, musicians of varying genres, so jazz musicians, classical musicians. We have choreographer and dancers. We've had we've done projection and video art. We've done what else have we done? That's mostly the gist of it. That's sort of the typical model. Poetry, spoken word, that's been a part of it. And so Groove Aesthetic kind of started out of like this idea that I have like with, these different genres that I do perform regularly and study regularly. I wanted to create a space or a performance opportunity to feel comfortable doing all of these art forms in one space.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't really exist unless you create it yourself
Right.
is what I discovered.
Right.
Cuz I had like a kind of ongoing jazz gig and I was trying to like put in some classical stuff there just to
Right.
see what the reaction was, and it was like and then when you go perform opera they don't want to hear jazz. So it's just like there's just all these different these sort of this very strict confines. It
Gotcha.
feels like sometimes
Yeah.
as a musician, as a working musician, when you find yourself in these different situations. So I wanted to create a space where these two art forms for myself can just happen at the same time. So I could perform a song cycle or a set of music of classical pieces, an opera, a couple opera arias from various operas or whatever, and then I could do a set of jazz standards and some Jill Scott tunes and whatever it is we wanted to do. And so that was like my whole premise for Groove Aesthetic. Well, sort of like on a selfish tip, like I just want to be able to perform what I want to perform where I want to do it.
Sometimes
And then
that's one of the greatest ideas.
right, exactly. And so and I'm just extremely blessed to have these wonderful musicians and artists in my life, and I like hit people up like, "Hey, want to come do this thing?" They're like, "Sure, Anqwenique, is you." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, sure. And I'm like, "Awesome." So that turned into Groove Aesthetic, a collective of artists. And now we do not just stuff like, not just primarily vocal music or things around vocal music, but for instance, Joe Sheehan composed a whole new bunch of pieces after his trip from Ghana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he was in Ghana. And so when he came back, he wrote all this new music, and we did a whole Groove Aesthetic show to showcase all his new compositions. Wow. And we just put it in the Groove Aesthetic model, if you will. So there was dance involved, there was video projection involved, and all that other stuff. And there were various, classical, more classical sounding things, more jazz, contemporary jazz sounding things.
And where does Groove Aesthetic usually take place? Where do you?
Various
like
places. So our first show, I have to do this shout out because this place no longer exists. But our first show was at FE Gallery.
Oh.
That was on Butler Street in Lawrenceville. Shout out to Sarah Dixon, who's like the first Groove Aesthetic fan. And so it happened. Our first show was at FE Gallery, and then we did a series of things at the Kelly Strayhorn Theater at the Alloy Studios, which absolutely love the Kelly Strayhorn Theater. They've been extremely supportive and just like just believing in the vision, and even if they didn't think it was going to work or if no one's doing it, we don't know who's going to come to this. Like, they were just very like encouraging and all of that. And coming up soon, Groove Aesthetic, this is kind of an announcement too, but Groove Aesthetic just got chosen to do a residency at Future Tenant downtown.
Awesome. On
Penn Avenue, as part of their Trespass residency series.
Awesome.
And so we are the first ones to go. Our performances are March 13th and 14th. If you're
March
not going this one day.
And 14th. Yeah.
I know. I saw the card. Yep, I know. There's like mad stuff happening that night, actually. Yeah. So we're doing a show that's called Because She Said So, and it's a celebration of women and their creative work. I was really excited to perform some works by women composers, particularly Black women composers, and just music that I've known about and performed here and there for years since like undergrad. But like this music, I don't think gets done very often. I've never heard people really do them in Pittsburgh, and they kind of sort of exist in these very specific spaces. So it's like music that is typically for Black singers in a classical setting. So you would do it as a part of a recital, right? As a classical singer. And so I thought it would be nice to sort of bring these pieces into a different kind of space. That's not an official sort of formal recital, but that's in a more intimate setting where people can really just hear it and relate and just connect with the pieces.
Oh, wow. That sounds great.
So that's kind of everything's kind of being built around that. Anthony Williams, our choreographer, is going to be doing some dance things. Julie Malice, visual artist, is doing projections on the walls. Joy Kemet is going to be doing some spoken word, some original pieces of hers.
And you said this is
And
March 13th and 14th.
March 13th and 14th at Future Tenant at 8 p.m. Yep. So that's going to be, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really beautiful situation. Or as my friend would say, a very beautiful scenario.
A very beautiful scenario. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get out there on the 13th, and I don't know. Like, you're right. There's a lot happening on that weekend.
That whole weekend, yes.
I think like at work we have a concert on that weekend or something, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So it might be moot. Like I might be working. Like it doesn't even matter.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's really exciting. We're excited. We're getting ready.
And tickets are at the door, or
I think they're at the door. Probably we'll be able to purchase like ahead of time online. I think it's like $10.
Okay.
But check out futuretenant.org. Check out Future Tenant or the Facebook page. I'll be throwing it out definitely to my folks. So.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you've mentioned that you are also a teacher.
Yes.
Now you're vocal, piano,
both.
And what grades do you?
So I teach for a couple like after school programs. So Hope Academy for the music and the arts in East Liberty. It's kind of an after school and weekend music and arts program.
Okay.
So I teach like my youngest student is like 7. My oldest student is like 18. So I teach voice and piano there, and I'm the voice coach for the Hope Academy Teen Theater Company vocal ensemble. So
do you also do acting? Do you do drama as well?
I don't teach acting.
Well, do you yourself, Anqwenique?
I do acting in reference to music. So I am an opera singer, therefore I am a singing actress.
I feel like Daryl has something that he would like to add to this. So basically, this is another announcement you're not ready to announce just yet.
What is it?
You could.
We did G Swiss.
What is this?
Okay, so we were both in a play, our physical theater production. Site-specific work. We did it at East Liberty Presbyterian Church. This was 2 years ago. It was called For the Girl Who Sleeps in Snow.
Okay, I remember.
Directed by Meredith Hoppy, and I think co-directed by Linda Adelsberger, but she won't claim it. She was like, I'm not a director. I'm just here to support. Shout out to Miss Linda. But yeah, I was an actress. I did do some acting. Yes.
Is that something that you would like to get into?
I think so. I think I would love to experience that more. I don't know how good I am at it without the singing.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that, but first things first, what we'll do is we'll get you into a stage musical.
I have to do a musical. First. See, I don't sing musicals. See, that's the one thing I don't do.
So what do you find, like, I know what the difference is, but what do you, like, as a vocalist, what is the difference to you?
So the vocal style with opera and musicals or music theater is very different. One of the most obvious sort of keys or factors to that is that in musicals and music theater productions they use microphones. Always, I'm pretty sure. So in an opera we don't ever use microphones unless it's a situation where unless it's for recording purposes usually. So that's one of the main things. More specifically, I think the vocal style of singing music theater is a little bit harsh for me. Okay. Like the belting.
Okay.
And not that I can't belt, because I can belt. I belt in ways that are comfortable and healthy for my particular voice. Gotcha. And not to say music theater singers are not singing healthily, but there's a different technique that they learn when singing that music like professionally.
Interesting.
And so I've and even in college, it's funny because even in college, my voice teacher would never let me audition for the musicals.
Really?
Yeah. We would do like operas in the fall, musicals in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And she would never let me audition for the musicals because she always felt like it would ruin my technique.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And so, which is interesting because I sing everything else. So that's probably ruining my technique anyway. But yeah, it's a little bit of a different. I mean, I probably could do it, like I can do it.
Right.
I just choose not to.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're not forcing you here. Just curious.
Yeah, for sure. Like if somebody came along and said, "Hey, we want to pay you to do this musical,"
right, like,
I'm
there.
I would probably do it just like, oh, that seems like a fun experience.
Right.
Why not?
And what musical would you like to do?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's skip that one.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Me personally, if I could sing,
don't say Dreamgirls.
No, my thing. I always wanted to do Chicago. I wanted to play the role of not Roxy, Velma. I wanted to.
Yes, that would be lovely. Actually.
All right. So if there was one thing people would be surprised to know about you.
People be surprised to know. People are always surprised to find out that I'm like shy and I'm kind of an introvert. People are always like really no, but you're like on stage.
I can see
and
that
I'm
about
like,
you. We know our own. I'm a bit of an introvert myself.
Yeah, it's different, because you have to kind of turn it on and turn it off and
it's exhausting to have it on.
It really
all
is.
The time.
I would be just like at home. Like I just be at home for real. People don't know.
Right.
I'll just go home. But no, I am very shy. I'm a little socially awkward. And it's like, but I think I hide it well, truly. Maybe not as well as I think I do. He said I don't.
I think you hide it well.
But
I just seem to be socially awkward.
Well, I mean, I'm personable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm personable and I can have a conversation.
Right.
I think I can articulate myself well. I just sometimes when I'm in a room full of people that like I don't really know, or if I'm by myself in a room full of people that I don't really know, I feel very alone, and I feel like I have trouble like sort of inserting myself into a conversation.
Ditto.
It's like, and then I'll have like a lot of anxiety around it too. Like, oh my gosh, now I have to go talk to, like, this is awkward. Like, right. Like all these things go through my head. And it's very stressful. Like it just be like, and then I have these thoughts. Like I wonder, like, why does this happen to me? Like why? Why do I have to go through this? Why can't I just be socially normal?
Right, yeah. It's like we overthink every aspect of it. And, from the first anxiety of, oh, my God, I'm expected to go to this event. For one.
Right.
Who's going to be there? Am I going to know anybody there? Am I going to be able to talk to anybody there? Once you get there, I don't see anybody that I know. Do I have to talk to these people? Now I have to make small talk. And then it's just... a lot.
And it's like, maybe I should just leave. No, you can't just leave.
Exactly. How long can I be here before I can leave?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's a struggle. It is like.
It even gets so bad as to if I were to see somebody that I sort of know out in public or like at the grocery store or something, but not really well enough, just to keep from doing the small talk, I will avoid that person.
Yep. Because then you get that. So, hey. What's it called? My friend Michelle calls it the water cooler talk.
The water cooler talk.
Yeah. Yep. That sun out there. Oh, where's it at? We're in Pittsburgh. Ain't no sun.
How about this winter?
How about that snow?
How about that snow? How about them Steelers? That's how it goes here in Pittsburgh.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so
I'm also a klutz. I forgot about that one. Oh, majorly. It is so bad.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I got really excited about that.
No, it is so bad. And it's to the point where, like, which it might not even be a surprise to some people because they may have seen me, like, trip up on stage.
I've never seen you do
because this happened,
that.
like, I was I was at this one show, and I was on stage, and my band's playing, and it's like the little
Feeling
musical
it.
interlude part, and I'm feeling it, and I'm like dancing, got my little like two-step happening on stage, and I go to do a little turn, and then next thing I knew, I like spilled water on somebody. My cup spilled over. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It was a lot, but for me, like stuff like that always happens. Like it's terrible.
All right, so we're
Yeah.
going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with the top 5.
Sounds good.
So, Rugged Angel Productions has made some internet friends over at inherglam.com. This is a great website with blog posts and YouTube videos on beauty, fashion, fitness, TV, and food. They also have podcasts on Arrow, Revenge, Hit the Floor, and Scandal. And while you're there, you can go ahead and make sure to check out the Glam Chick shop for female empowering swag. Now swing on over to inherglam.com and show the ladies some love. That's inherglam.com, INHERGLAM.com. Your one-stop site for all things fashion, glam, and life-related. Like honorable mentions if you want.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, so we are back. I have Anqwenique has found some Girl Scout cookies.
Yay.
And so we are going to get into, because you perform so much, we're going to get into the top 5 live performances and concerts that you have attended.
Mm-hmm. All right, drum roll. Okay. So, doggy didn't like that. I'm trying to, I have like 7 here. I'm trying to like choose. So on the starting from number 5, I say the Foreign Exchange concert that was here in Pittsburgh, Dream On Festival 2014.
Wow.
2014, Bakery Square, Dream Cream Ice Cream.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was just this past summer. Yeah.
That was this past summer. That was really awesome. It was a really great concert. It was also like a really beautiful moment.
Who was on this?
Foreign Exchange.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of these bands that is current things that
See,
I don't
you gotta
know.
get on. You gotta get on.
I have aged out of a lot of things.
No, but they're like older than us, our age. Well, the performers are.
Oh, they're grown-ups. Okay, it's grown people music.
Zoe and what's Fonte.
I have to check them out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Paul Robeson. Shout outs.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was a really awesome experience. Also just holds like very beautiful memories too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Angela Brown, who is a beautiful, famous Black woman who's soprano, famous soprano, opera singer. She performed the role of Tosca here in Pittsburgh Opera a couple years ago.
Huh.
Really powerful performance. What else is on here? Got a shout out to my homegirl, Vivo M, Viva Black.
Ah, yes.
Viva Black's got to be on there. I'm good, babe. Yeah, Viva Black.
Is she still in Pittsburgh?
She is in like Minnesota
really?
now. Yeah, she's working with a dance company out there.
Wow.
But still singing and performing, like making moves. Like she's still doing V. That's my homegirl.
That's awesome.
I miss her. I miss her dearly.
How long has she been gone? About a year?
This is like year 2, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tear. Also, let's see. We just recently went to see Daniel Beatty's one woman play Mr. Joy at Pittsburgh Playwright what was it at? Pittsburgh Playwright? City Theater, I'm sorry. At City Theater. Really beautiful performance. It was really powerful. It was a one-woman show called Mr. Joy.
Interesting. What was it about?
It was about, so this one woman, she played like, I don't know, 10 different characters or so.
Really?
Yeah, and it was all about this this man who was a shoe repairsman in this neighborhood, I think in Brooklyn. And he had been injured, and so the characters are all sort of talking about Mr. Joy or talking about their experiences, like with Mr. Joy, like, oh, he fixed my shoes and I was this, that, and the other. I was on my way to work and my heel broke and Mr. Joy fixed my shoe. And, and this little girl who was like his protege, really. And it kind of tells us, it kind of tells the story mostly from her perspective. But she was going like, oh, Mr. Joy showed me how to do all the shoes and, and this and that. So it was really beautiful. And the woman who, the actress, show. Yeah, the actress was amazing. Just really phenomenal. Wow. So that was great. And then, that's 4, right? I think
so.
On the top, I'll put this performance, which was an opera that was it's an opera in jazz that was composed by Terrence Blanchard, who is a trumpet player and composer.
He does a lot of musical scores and film.
Has done a lot of film scores. Yep, and he composed an opera in jazz in partnership with the St. Louis Opera Theater. Oh, wow. Called Champion, about the life of Emil Griffith, who was a boxer. Okay. And so he had developed like boxer's brain and had like these and had like a disability. I forget if there was a specific disease also, but he had boxed for so many years, and then later in his life like lost his memory and had like Alzheimer's and eventually passed away. But it was just about his life as a boxer and as a gay man in that industry in that time period. And it was really beautiful play. Denise Graves sang the role of his mother, who's another famous mezzo-soprano, black woman. And so it was really great. Me and my good friend Maggie Johnson flew out to St. Louis to see the premiere. So that was awesome. That was amazing. It was really great.
Nice.
And that kind of gave me the idea about writing music and composing music and like what that looks like. And I was like, oh. So those are my top 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So mine... They're not all quite as cultured as yours.
That's all right.
Just keeping it real. Up top, I have Ibrahim Fair. He was with Buena Vista Social Club and Cuban singer, probably in his 80s. And I saw him, I want to say like 10 years ago at Heinz Hall. And he was probably like in his late 80s. Pretty sure he's passed away now, I think like 5 years ago, but he was in his upper 80s. He comes out there and he's just like dancing his little ass off. Just the entire, like he's got the whole place up and just dancing. And I just love the Cuban music to begin with. Yeah. And I don't know what cologne he had on, but like as soon as he came on stage, everybody could smell it. But that was just, it was a...
Show you right.
Right. It's like, oh, pap. Right. And it was such, like, talking about just seeing all these different people in the audience of different walks of life and everybody just getting together and just, like, dancing in the aisles and doing the salsa dances. And it was just such a fun time. Chick. Speaking of dancing, I think they're more like electronic rock kind of. And I saw them probably 6-7 years ago at the Rex Theater, and that was just one of the most fun concerts I've ever been to because the whole place. I never danced so hard at a live show before, and it was just amazing. And even they like the band, so they came out into the audience and was like dancing with everybody. This is kind of embarrassing.
No,
but New Kids on the Block.
Oh,
like
you
2 years ago.
We gotta wait to the alternate. Yeah.
This is like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My Dan got me tickets for my birthday, and my sister came down. Like it was at actually like a week before her birthday when the show actually was.
Nice.
And she came up, and we went together and we had a blast. It was like the seats were like right there in front of the stage.
Nice.
Donnie Wahlberg kissed me.
Oh, shut up. Hey.
I'm just
Ooh,
saying.
I'm just saying.
And it was before Jenny McCarthy got to him. So, number 4, Rock the Bells concert in Baltimore.
Oh.
That was some time ago, but that was with Mos Def, Q-Tip, Eric B. and Rakim, De La Soul. I think maybe the Far Side was there.
Wow.
Nas.
Wow.
It was just an amazing show, and it was like one of the best. It was like every like a hip hop dream,
right?
Just like right there, and
it was like,
be
there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was an outdoor like festival,
That's
like all day
amazing.
thing. I was so geeked, like it was raining, and I didn't care. I didn't care at all. I was just so pumped. Right. It was just I was in it. It's like I'm here in Baltimore, right here in front of like watching all this greatness just come across the stage, and
wow,
it was such a good time.
Hell yeah.
And I do have an alternate, and I guess to round off the 5, it would be the Roots. I saw them for free at CMU's Carnival or something some years ago.
Okay.
And that was pretty phenomenal.
Word.
And what were your alternatives?
Okay, my alternatives were my alternatives were I did went to like a Crisscross concert. I was like way too young. I don't even remember what year it was. It was like my first concert ever.
They were popular. Awesome. I want to say it was like 90 maybe.
Yeah, but it was later, and it was because they were older.
Oh, okay.
They were a little older, and then I went to like an immature concert. And I was like 12. I think it was like soldiers and sailors. And I was like, me and my homegirl were like up in the balcony, like, Romeo, I love you.
Did you guys have banners?
No, we didn't have banners. We did not have banners, but no, that was like,
oh man,
the best.
What was the first concert? You said Crisscross was your first concert that you had ever gone to?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Nice. Like concert, not like music performance, but just like the whole
I'm
experience.
Just going here, yes.
Right.
Because
going
it's
to the concert.
Mm-hmm. You were young.
Yep.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So that is
top
that.
5.
So where can we find more info on you? What's your website? What are your social media? Your handles?
Yes, you can find me online at Anqwenique.com. So here is your friendly spelling lesson. So you spell my name ANQWENIQUE.com. You can also check me out on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Soprano Wing, SOPRANOWING. I'm also on Facebook, just my first name, Anqwenique. I have a Facebook fan page that you can like. And I'm always sending out updates. I do email blasts like here and there, not very often, but every few months or so when there's like a lot happening or something big happening. So you can find me on those platforms for show.
And I know that you have several shows coming up, and not even just in Pittsburgh. You have one in Atlanta coming up too.
Yes.
I know all that's listed.
All that is listed on the on my website on the first page. Just upcoming events. But the show in Atlanta is going to be really awesome. Sorry,
that's okay.
I'm spilling my cookie. So the show in Atlanta is actually going to be a second premiere of the No Boundaries project, On the Edge of Night, which was a project I did in October of last year with a composer from New York, Daniel Bernard Romaine, and librettist Yona Harvey, who is a poet, literary artist, and also a professor at Pitt University.
Oh.
And so we composed this new piece, which is a 5-movement song cycle for string, trio, percussion, voice, and spoken word.
Wow.
We premiered it at the Kelly Strayhorn Theater. And it was
like October
beautiful.
last year.
Yep, October 11th, exactly. And so it was a really beautiful performance. And so we're taking that piece, that composition, to Emory University in Atlanta.
Awesome.
To premiere it there, and hopefully to the moon.
That's fantastic.
So that's happening right after the week after the Future Tenant Residency Recruit Aesthetic. And also this summer you can find me with Microscopic Opera in the premiere of a new opera called Mercy Train, which is actually composed by Daniel Levine and Julie Tosh. So I'll be performing one of the lead roles in that opera, which will be at the New Hazlitt Theater June 19th through the 21st. And then in July, I don't have the exact dates, but in July, if you check out the Opera Theater of Pittsburgh website, I am performing in the kids' opera, the true story of the 3 little pigs, as Piggy number 1 with my straw house. So I'll be performing that with a number of really phenomenal singers with through Opera Theater of Pittsburgh in July.
And this is just something that I'm assuming it's for children, and they're just like bringing the kids in, or
I think it's for children. I think we actually did a number of performances of it this past week when we had children from different schools bus in and come see the performance at the Hill House Kaufman Center.
Nice.
So this will be actually just as a part of the Opera Theater of Pittsburgh's Summer Fest season. So it'll be open obviously for children, but for adults, for whoever can come and see it. It's like just more family friendly intro to opera.
That's great.
So that's what's going on this summer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Yes, I had a lot of fun.
Thank you for not making me feel bad about being awkward.
Oh, sweetie. I am
like
happy
some people I know.
to have gotten to know you better, and I wish you much success.
Thank
and
you.
I'm very proud of you for everything that you've accomplished thus far.
Thank you so much.
And
I'm very proud of you also. Shout out to the Rugged Angel.
Thanks.
All day. Yes, this was fun.
All right.
And thanks for the coffee.
You're welcome.
And for the Girl Scout cookies.
You're welcome. That was what it really was. That's how much I love you guys. Shared Girl Scout cookies.
That's right. Not the
Samoas.
Not the Samoas.
But the ones that I accidentally purchased. You guys are all for those. You can have those. This has been a Rugged Angel production.